Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes. Good day. Yeah.
G'day.
G'day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah.
Day.
Yeah. Good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
good day.
G'day. Hey. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah. G'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Hello. Welcome to Yeah. G'day.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
g'day.
Thanks for coming out.
Welcome to episode 2.
Episode 2, Yeah G'day, the complete guide to Australia.
And what a guide.
I think it's a guide that encapsulates all of Australia, Tim.
Well, that was the plan, I guess, wasn't it? So,
It is a plan, and I
Yep.
think... No, you go.
no, please.
No, please, okay. No, I was going to say, Tim, I think that sometimes people might see a podcast, let's use the metaphor, a book, per se, and some people might judge a book by its cover.
That's true.
Or a podcast by its name, or a podcast by its cover.
Yeah, where are we going with this?
Well, look, Tim, there's an age-old saying here in Australia that you may have heard before, and you got to be careful because if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
Yeah, right.
it could be a platypus.
That is very true.
And if it's a platypus, you better be ready for something to happen. I don't know.
It'll swim past you, I guess. They're not particularly aggressive creatures, are they? So,
Well, I'm not sure, Tim, because I think that my platypus knowledge is actually not great at the moment. I do know a bit of stuff about,
you know a little bit.
but I don't know a lot. Do you know stuff about the platypus?
You know what? Once again, similar to last week, it's funny how this works. I actually did do a bit of research into platypuses. Platypuses?
Platypi?
Platypi?
Platypode.
I don't know. It's something like that. The plural of platypus.
Yeah.
Because I thought, hey, why don't we do an episode on platypus?
And see, again, it's really weird because you did that, and whilst you were doing that, I had this weird thought that I should just look at some other weird popular facts or, famous platyposes. And it seems, once again, we put two pieces of the puzzle together to make a platypus episode of Yeah G'day.
It's insane how these sorts of things work out, but look, I think we just roll with it. We deliver to these people the information that I know that they are thirsty for.
So
thirsty.
for all of you across the water and for all of you within the border,
Ooh, that was
that's a
nice.
good slogan. Yeah, we should take that.
Yeah.
I think there's some political parties that might want that too. We need to tell people about the platypuses.
All right. Well, how about I lay down some hard, cold science?
Lay it down for me. Do you want me to give you a sick beat as well?
No. Yeah, thank you. It might spice it up a bit. Nothing really gets people listening and on board like just delivering some facts, just
Yes.
some hard facts
Yes.
right into their ears. No, let's get into it. So, for those across the pond, aka outside of Australia, I don't know if everyone knows what a platypus is because it's not one of the more well-known Australian animals. Would you say?
I would agree with you that probably not everyone knows what it is, but at the same time, I feel like it's made fun of enough that maybe everyone is aware of its existence.
Maybe. Anyway, just in case you don't, let's start at the very beginning. Very good place to start. A platypus is a semi-aquatic, egg-laying mammal, endemic. Do you know what that word means?
It's when there's a breakout of a disease in a certain area.
That's an epidemic.
Right.
Very close.
Okay.
Endemic is like a step more than native. It means it's specific to a very specific area.
So native to Australia, but even more specific to a certain area.
very specific. It's endemic. We just learnt that
Yep,
word.
yep.
To Eastern Australia, including Tasmania.
Oh, Tasmania, finally joining the party. Come on in, guys.
Yeah, well done, Tasmania, and getting on the platypus
What
party.
a lot of people don't know about Tasmania is that Tasmanian bitter, which I think is a beer they have down there, it's actually carried on the backs of platyposes across the water to the mainland. It's,
Absolutely.
It just tastes that much sweeter.
One bottle at a time. Well, one can at a time. If it's a long neck, they have to have two.
Yeah.
It's lucky there's so many of them. Yeah, look, let's continue with the hard science. The platypus is only one of 5 surviving species of a particularly weird group of mammals called the monotremes. Have you heard of the monotremes? You're looking
now,
at me?
Again, I have. I believe mono means one and treme means treme.
Yes, that's correct.
So,
Mono. No, monotreme, they're real weird. They're basically, like I said, there's only 5 of them, of which platypus is one, and the other 4 are types of echidna, which is an animal we'll talk about
At some point
on a later thing. But their deal is they're mammals, but they lay eggs.
Now, Tim, I know that I've got some wax in my ear and I'm a bit stuffy and sick at the moment,
Yeah.
but I thought I heard you say mammals that lay eggs.
Well, you did hear me say mammals that lay eggs. These guys, they have all of the mammal stuff going on, warm-blooded, all that stuff. I don't know what makes a mammal.
Yeah.
Like, you get it,
Yeah,
though.
I do.
They have milk, which I think is something you're going to talk about later.
I am going to talk about
They
platypus
feed
milk.
their babies milk and they look after their babies, but they are hatched from eggs. They lay eggs and they hatch out of eggs. That's their thing.
Amazing.
Very weird.
You
And
had me at
we'll
mono.
talk about what that means for science a little bit later, because it's kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue with the facts. Males are larger than females, and most platypi range from about 0.7 to 2.4 kilos. So they're little fellas. They're
Yep.
not very big.
They're not too that you can fling them around.
And they're usually between 43 centimeters, 17 inches for those in America that don't know centimeters, to 50 centimeters, 20 inches for those in America. So that's, they're only little fellas.
They're not. They're not huge. I'm trying to remember. Like when I've seen one, but I've only seen very few, and we can talk about that a bit later as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, I've lost where I was up to. Only mammals.
Oh,
Here we go.
no,
Here
Here we go.
This is talking about monotremes as well, because this is something it shares with the echidna. Monotremes are the only mammals known to have a sense of electroreception.
Oh,
So what that means is they actually locate their prey in the water by detecting electrical fields generated by muscle contractions.
oh.
So when it's swimming, because for those who don't know, platypus, like I said, they're semi-aquatic. They usually live streams. They have little burrows that they kind of do into the stream wall.
Yeah.
I guess that's the word.
Bank.
Stream bank.
Yeah,
That's the one.
riverbank.
And they hunt in the water, but they swim with their eyes closed. The darlings.
Oh, bless. Don't want to get
they
any salt water in their eyes.
Yeah, fresh water, whatever. Let's not get technical. They use electroreception to find their prey in the water, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a carnivore.
Oh.
It eats annelid worms, which I don't know what that is. Insect larvae, do know what that is.
Yep.
Freshwater shrimp and freshwater yabbies.
Throw another shrimp on the barbie,
Throw another
platypus?
shrimp. Absolutely. Do you think with the yabbies it has to get those yabby pumps? Do that?
No, but I feel like we just. I feel like this episode alone is giving us a list of all these other episodes we have to do, like yabby pumps.
Yabby pumps. I wonder if they have those overseas.
Yeah.
Write in and tell us if they have yabby pumps.
Tell us about your yabby pumps. They probably don't even know what a yabby is.
Maybe not. But so when it catches it, puts it in a cheek pouch. It's got little pouches in its cheek.
Oh, cute.
Doesn't have teeth.
No, it doesn't. But
have teeth.
it doesn't have teeth. However, I found this out when I was reading. So let me jump in here into the
Oh,
hard
okay.
fact.
No, let me take a step back for a moment.
The platypuses could be the first animal to have dentures in a way, because when they get their little bugs off the billabong or the stream floor, they grab gravel at the same time and kind of use that gravel so that when they want to crunch things up, that they use the gravel as like makeshift teeth. Their smile is haunting. It's horrible.
Adds a little bit of spice to the insect larvae as well, I imagine.
But so they do. I don't think they swallow the gravel. I don't think they do the whole dinosaur
point?
thing where they eat rocks.
Okay.
But yeah, so they have makeshift teeth. But anyway, please continue with your stuff.
Yeah, so anyway, that's good. So in terms of their sex lives, they seem to be polygamous. I didn't say
You didn't say polygamous. You said polygynous.
Polygynous.
What does that mean?
It means generally. It actually kind of means the same thing as polygamy, I think.
Right.
Basically, usually there's one dude with lots of female platypi,
Right. A harem of platypi.
but they seem very dedicated to each other. Does that make sense?
So it's kind of So it's
It's
like
like a cross of polygamy and monogamy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
like
kind of like
halfway.
That's cute. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, it
Good
is
for
nice.
them. Getting it done, but getting it done respectfully.
They'll make a commitment, but they want a little booty on the side.
Yeah, but also committed to that booty.
Yeah, they're committed to all the booty. That's really nice. And obviously, we talked about they lay eggs. Now they are very, very timid.
Yes.
In fact, so timid that I don't think I've ever seen one in the wild. Have you?
In the wild, one time, Tim, as many stories start for me on this show, one time I thought I saw a platypus in the wild.
Yeah.
I was in Canberra. And I saw in the lake there near the art gallery, I saw some kind of furry animal moving in the water.
Okay.
And myself and the children that were there that I took on the school excursion all got very excited for the fact that there could be a platypus in the wild. It was a water rat.
Well,
It was a water rat.
that's not surprising. Water
No.
rats do exist.
Yeah.
No, but I've never seen. I've seen pretty much all of the other animals that Australia is quite well known for in the wild at some point.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to
But
think if
I've-
I've seen an echidna. But
I've held an echidna. I picked one up.
You shouldn't touch them, mate.
Tell that story
Dangerous.
on the echidna episode.
Um,
But yeah, never seen one in the wild.
And they're quite hard to see at the zoo as well. If you do see them at the zoo, especially I know at Taronga Zoo in Sydney, it's in that dark room. It's a dark room. I think it's
Yeah.
just the platypus room essentially. And they've got water and everything. So I think there's some yabbies in there and some fish or whatever. But you can't really see anything because it's got
Yeah.
the dark blue light and stuff. But then once in a while you see the platypus having a good little time. They're quite cute to watch swim.
They're very cute. They're very timid.
Yeah.
They don't like to cause it. They swim with their eyes closed. That is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
But beware,
Why?
they've got a poisonous spur.
What?
Yeah, here's
This
something.
animal gets weirder and weirder as we get deeper and deeper.
It really does. Look, the males have a spur on their hind foot, and it has a venom. So the venom's not really. It couldn't kill you, but it is said to actually be severely painful to humans. If they get stung.
Supposedly, people. Someone has said that they would rather have been shot than be stung by a platypus again.
Yeah.
And when they used to hunt platypus for their fur, for their pelt, some platypus would just end up killing the dogs that were trying to hunt them because they would get a spur in.
Yeah.
Get a spur into it. It makes those little cute creatures a little bit more feisty, and it kind of adds to the list of everything that's trying to kill you in Australia.
Oh, absolutely. Even the cute ones.
Maybe we
that
should
you
call
hardly
it
see.
Yeah G'day, the podcast where everything's trying to kill you.
Maybe we should call it that. Yeah, so that's the hard facts. That's the science of the platypus. I didn't say the scientific name, and that's purely because I couldn't say it.
Oh.
So look it up yourselves.
Oh, I want to have a look as well.
Okay.
I'll have a look and have a try at some point. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia article that I have open because that's the most reliable place. Let me just have a look at this,
There's
Tim.
nothing more reliable.
Let me tackle this name. The Ornithornychus anatinus.
Anatinus?
I don't know.
That one's the first word is ridiculous.
Yeah, the ornithornychus.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
if you want some more cold hard facts, look up the Wikipedia because
Yeah.
everyone knows there's no more reliable source than Wikipedia on the internet.
If the internet's
for-
starting to
for
lie
science.
to me,
Oh,
I don't know what I'm going to do.
so yeah, that's what I have to contribute. Because you mentioned you had some facts there yourself.
I do.
Something a little more saucy.
I do, and the interesting thing about the platypus, though, is that a lot of the facts, even though we're gonna try and talk about more interesting facts, bizarre facts, they still come down to the science alone because the animal itself is just out of this world.
Absolutely, yeah.
However, did you know that when the first platypus was found and stuffed, taxidermied, as they did when they first found an animal, they kind of kill it and taxidermy it, got sent back over to good old England, got sent back to the homeland, and they thought it was a hoax.
They did, yes.
They thought
did
that they
indeed.
had, cut the bits off a duck and a duck and a beaver or something, and they thought they'd stitched it together and sent it back home. And then supposedly, even when people saw it in real life, they still maintained that it was fake. They were like, "This isn't real."
Yeah. It's such a strange animal. I remember when we were probably was in primary school, and we went to the centre that kind of talked about Indigenous culture in the local area.
Right.
And obviously, part of the Indigenous culture of Australia, there's hundreds of tribes across Australia that existed and many different belief systems and all this sort of stuff. But one of the prevailing ones on the eastern thing was this kind of story. Well, this is what they told us anyway.
Right.
Where they even acknowledged that the platypus was just a very weird creature. And this is, Aboriginal people, custodians of the land, people who have lived here for tens of thousands of years. Even they were like, nah, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is super weird.
Everyone agrees. Everyone, all right, everyone in the world, everyone gather around. We agree this is fucked, right?
Yeah, but in the story, basically, it goes that that the other animals were trying to entice the platypus to join them because they couldn't figure out whether it should be like a duck, like a bird.
Oh, so everyone was fighting for its...
Yeah, because it came about by a duck and a water rat, I think.
Maybe.
Mating, and that was the offspring. And yeah, all of the other animal groups were trying to get it to join in.
And that brings me to that point I was talking about when I was having a look here before. I said to Tim, "There's one thing that really gets me going. One thing, not in that way. One thing that really grinds my goat and gets my gears. Is when people call it a duck-billed platypus.
Yeah, it's even written as duck-billed platypus on the Wikipedia
Everywhere
article.
that I read is duck-billed platypus. That's the equivalent of calling it a koala bear. It is a national crime to say that in Australia. So we're going to get beat up by the law.
Probably a bit strongly put, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
It's not duck build, it's platypus build. It's got its own thing.
It is. It is.
But the poor little guy. So another interesting thing, you're saying that it's a semi-aquatic. However, it's extremely awkward on land. I've got some videos. We'll share them throughout the week, and you can go find them of little platypuses walking on land, and they essentially have to walk on their knuckles because they've got the little flippers. So they've got to knuckle walk and stuff. Again, it's kind of cute, but kind of horribly awkward.
Actually, fun fact going off that, which I actually just remembered, not even looking at my computer, from when I was researching for, platypus is like made up of a bunch of Latin words, and one of those Latin words means flat-footed. I think it's the platy part.
Right.
That's just me throwing something in there.
Maybe.
It doesn't lead anywhere, but
I
it's
didn't even
something.
think about looking up the
something.
origin of the name. Now, I also want to talk about unorthodox breasts, Tim.
Are we still on platypi? Or
everyone gather around. I want to talk about unorthodox breasts, which is the title of this section on this bizarre fact sheet that I have open.
Oh, fantastic.
Now, as we were saying, the monotreme, which is, again, bloody good on you, Australia, because the only two monotremes are platypus and echidna, and they're in Australia. I don't know if all monotremes, but the platypus specifically, it still feeds its young on milk, as you mentioned before.
Yes, sir.
But they don't have teats.
No teats.
They do have more of an areola thing that just kind of leaks milk. Essentially how sweat comes out of your glands when you're sweating. It just leaks milk out of its skin and the babies lap it up. Just leak it, everyone.
Kind of gross, but yeah, good on them.
I know that sometimes my areola leaks milk.
What I'm interested in, how hard, I guess maybe that's why they don't have teats, how hard would it be to drink milk with a bill?
Well, we'll have to ask one.
Yeah. Do we have one? Can we get an interview with one?
We can probably find a platypus.
No, they're timid. They're probably not interested.
They're timid. So are we. The other interesting thing, and I'm envious of this. I wish I was a platypus. They have, according to this fact sheet, so if anyone's going to jump at me and say they do, anyway, this fact sheet says they have no stomach.
No stomach.
Which I would love to not have a stomach. But supposedly they've just got like their esophagus and their intestines, and that's it.
Okay.
A lot of the food that they eat, or the animals and bugs they eat, doesn't require the full-on digestion process, or I guess a lot of digestive acids in that maybe. So
interesting.
It just goes down, which it makes sense because they don't really have teeth again. So the chewing situation, like their food, it's bug larvae and
Is
stuff
that something
like
to do with because I feel like animals that eat a lot of vegetation have a lot of stomachs.
Like cows.
Cows have a lot of stomachs and stuff, but it's purely carnivorous. Is that something? Have I just stumbled across something?
Tim, I think you've just become the world's most renowned scientist.
Yeah. Look me up.
Yeah, look me up in your science journals.
I'll definitely be on Wikipedia written up as the most intelligent man to ever live.
Yeah, I've been sharing that article for you for a while.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The interesting thing about the platypus is, again,
this is the interesting
this is
thing.
the one.
Out of everything we've said, this is the interesting
so
thing.
The two things that annoy me is, number one, when someone calls it a duck-billed platypus, and number two, when people are mean to it. Because in the fact sheets that I'm reading, people are ragging on the platypus, calling it God's mistake, calling it this horrible abomination. It's like, steady on.
Yeah.
It didn't ask to be like this.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing feat of evolution.
It is what it is, isn't it? So, step back.
And all these people that are ragging on it, it's actually super important scientifically because of the fact that it has all these mixed genes and mixed DNA.
Yeah.
It's good to study. And when you study it, you find out that things like the spur on the male is from its basically reptilian DNA. So
yeah, you mentioned this before because it kind of sits in terms of scientifically evolution-wise. It kind of sits in the middle of a bunch of different species. Like, it's a mammal.
Yeah.
But it has remnants from the evolutionary past.
Yeah,
Still-
so the fact that it has, a duck-shaped bill, or it has webbed feet, and then it's got fur, but then it lays eggs, it's, mammal, reptile, and bird.
it's like the missing link.
It is, not the Archaeopteryx specifically, but close to.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to study. So suppose when they pulled it apart, the DNA of it, not the poor platypus, although they found that, it had a lot of reptilian DNA, and the stuff that makes its venom is the exact same thing that makes snake venom.
Right.
But what I was also mentioning to you before is the interesting situation with its chromosomes. Now, I'm not a science guy through and through, although I do love my science. So I'm not too up on chromosomes, but supposedly, with humans, we have our X and Y chromosome situation.
Of course, yep.
So with the platypus, though, the females have 5 different pairs of X chromosomes,
Right, okay.
and males have 5 X chromosomes and 5 Y chromosomes, which sounds like a lot of chromosomes to me. So I think that's interesting.
That's very, okay.
Even more interesting is that none of the chromosomes that platypus have are linked to mammal chromosomes. They're actually more similar in terms of determining sex and stuff like that to bird chromosomes.
Isn't that interesting?
It's
So
not interesting.
Okay. Yeah. It's mammalian,
Yep.
but it lays eggs like a bird or a reptile.
Yep.
And it's got a spur,
Yep.
which we can relate it to reptiles.
Yep.
But it has its gender chromosomes are more closely related to a bird.
Yep.
What's going on?
It is a right old mess.
Yeah, it's such a strange animal, but God, they're cute.
They are cute. They're very cute.
They're very, very cute.
Now, Tim, they're so cute that there have been quite a few famous platypod.
I wouldn't say quite a few, but there are a couple. Yeah, absolutely.
More than there are famous us.
That's not incorrect. That is not incorrect.
The platypus that I think of first,
Right.
even though it's not the first famous platypus that I came across, would be Sid,
City.
the platypus from the 2000 Olympic Games held in Sydney.
Yeah, he was definitely something that existed.
Now, I went looking on the internet because I thought surely there would have been some other mascot ideas that were thrown around at times.
Okay.
First of all, did you know it was the first time that there were 3 mascots for the Olympics? Usually it was just couples.
I
and
did
stuff.
not. I didn't
But
care to look into it, to be honest.
But supposedly, our good friend Matthew Hatton, who was the guy that designed the mascots.
Yeah, Matty.
Matty Boy.
Yeah.
His sketch of the platypus is what got him selected for the mascot project. So Sid is the whole reason that it happened. Sid named for Sydney, and then we had Millie for Millennium, who was the echidna.
Yeah,
and Ollie the kookaburra, who
Ollie
was
the
named
kookaburra.
for Olympics. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Supposedly, the platypus is one of the 2 emblems. Oh, so the kookaburra and the platypus are the 2 emblems of the Australian state of New South Wales, which I didn't know.
There you go. And platypus is also on the 10 cent piece?
20 cent.
20 cent.
20 cent.
20 cent piece.
What's on the 10 cent? Oh, that's a whole other episode. What's on the 20 cent? So let me have a look at Let me have a look at this. Here's my issue.
Yeah.
Another
issue. Here we go.
I like the mascots from the Olympics. I liked them. But I found a list of the 10 worst sporting mascots of all time. You know who was number 1? Sid, Millie, and Ollie.
Really?
Outrageous.
No, I can see that. I have to admit, it's just terrible, honestly.
Yeah, they were okay.
I do like that they used some of the lesser-known Australian animals,
Yeah.
platypus,
Echidna,
and the kookaburra, which we'll talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
Kookaburra is awesome.
Kookaburras are great. Tim, do you have any famous platypus?
I do. Oh, I do.
Okay, tell me.
So, a lot Australian kids, we all know Blinky Bill.
Blinky Bill.
Blinky's a koala that we all grew up with. I can't even remember. I should have looked this stuff up. When we talk about koalas and Blinky Bill, we might do an episode on Blinky Bill. We'll talk more specifically about it. But there's a character, one of Blinky's friends. So Blinky is like a cartoon that we all grew up with. One of Blinky's friends named Flap.
Mm-hmm.
He was a platypus.
Flaps the platypus.
There's a lot of build up for not much of a bang there. Flap the platypus.
Flap. He had a lisp.
He did have a lisp. Yes, he did have a lisp.
He was kind of like Daffy Duck in terms of voice.
And he hated being called Duck.
Yeah, exactly, as he should.
Yes.
He wore overalls, green overalls. It had a patch on them, I believe.
He did. No. You're thinking about the kangaroo, whose name I cannot remember.
No, he also wore overalls.
He
The
wore
platypus.
like yellow pants.
Oh, he did.
Yellow
I think
pants.
you're right. I had a toy that I used to play with in the bath of him.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Keep
that's
it to
not-
yourself, mate.
Semi-aquatic.
The other one is, this is one that the youngsters might know. There's Perry on
Perry-
Phineas and Herb.
Why do you keep saying Phineas and Herb? It's Phineas and Ferb.
I've never seen the show.
Phineas and Ferb is actually one of the funniest cartoons. I used to love it. And by used to, I mean I was already like a teenager, maybe even an adult when it came out. Mum and Dad still watch it.
Yeah, well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
fuck you. But Perry the Platypus is a secret agent. He's the pet of Phineas and Ferb. And every day he disappears, but he's off fighting crime, and he's a super awesome. Doesn't speak, and he makes a very weird sound. Like he makes like a sound.
I wonder what noise platypi make.
Probably they don't. I assume they just don't make a sound.
I can't imagine they would have
They probably hiss.
any necessity for it. And of course, my favourite of all time, this is one only Australians will know, the platypus from the Clark Rubber ad.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you remember this one?
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
very badly 3D animated.
Yeah.
He had that quirky voice.
Yeah.
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 Wonderful guy.
Yeah.
I'd have him over for Barbie.
Oh, we would have. Yeah,
We'd
we
throw
did.
a couple freshwater shrimp on the Barbie.
For a shrimp for the platypus.
Yeah, it'd be a nice time. So those were the only famous platypus I could find. Although I did also find Green Day had a
Yes.
song called Platypus,
What?
and in brackets after it, it's called "I Hate You."
Oh.
So Platypus in brackets, "I Hate You."
Okay.
Don't know what it's about. Just came across it. Maybe we'll do a link to it. People
Yeah.
can listen to it. Don't let it affect your look,
Your view
of the platypus, though.
Yeah.
Green Day are not Australian, and
They're not. They are
probably
good
already
boys,
knew
though.
that. Yeah.
Now, you may have noticed throughout the episode that Tim and I have been throwing around a couple of different fun words, all meaning the same thing in terms of plurals of the platypus.
Yes.
The funny thing about the old platypus, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is no world universal agreement on the plural of platypus.
Yeah, when we were talking about it, I believe this conversation first came about because I said platypi,
Yes.
and then you said no, that's not right.
No, I
And
said
well,
platypode.
how would you possibly, pluralize?
Yeah. So I did more looking into it. So nowadays, most people use platypus as a plural, much like sheep or fish is the plural. So the singular and the plural.
Sounds weird though. In a
It
sentence.
does. But although I guess look at all these platypus. But then there's also platypuses is kind of in style at the moment.
That's
in
what the
vogue.
kids are saying. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
all the kids are
Is it?
saying.
Yeah.
it. Platypi is obviously the kind of, I believe that's the Latin plural.
I like platypi.
But platypode is the Greek plural. So it depends
Okay.
on where you think the origin of the word comes from on what it is. Supposedly, I believe I read that platypi is just wrong though. So
yeah.
you're just wrong, and so is all of Australia.
Of course. Anyone that's ever said platypi, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're just wrong.
I favour platypode.
I'm a platypi man myself.
You would be.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't see this in any of my facts, but I hear that platypodes do like bluey green poos. Just to put that in the mix.
Okay.
Go have a look at that.
Thanks. I'm glad this was we were wrapping up on, and then you said that. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I thought everyone needed to know that
fantastic.
little fact.
Blue-green poos. Fantastic.
We all do them sometimes.
Go tell your parents if you're listening. I don't know why you would. Hey, Leon.
Yes,
that's the
Tim.
platypus. We've
Yes,
talked
it
about
is.
the platypus.
Beautiful.
And as we mentioned last week, we're going to move on a little bit here.
Okay,
We're doing segments.
we are.
So last week we did. What did we do last week?
The Harold Holt Watch.
Harold Holt Watch. Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Keep an eye out.
So if you know where Harold Holt is, you've seen him, send us a letter, send us an email, send us a text, send us a carrier pigeon.
Yep.
There's a lot of pigeons in the city. You can probably find one pretty easily.
Sorry, send us a platypus if you're in Tasmania.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be our first time seeing one in the wild, so that'd be quite a nice
Yeah.
treat for us, actually. But this week, what we're doing is what we're affectionately terming Dadvice.
We are. I've come to terms with that name.
Yes.
I was
Leon
against it
did
in the
not like
beginning.
it. Sometimes it's easier just to say things while you're recording because then everybody recording just has to accept it because
They sure do.
it's now out there in the world.
All two people in this room
Yeah.
have to accept it.
So now it's called Dadvice. So what we're going to do is we've actually received an email from a bloke from Orange, which I'll read out in a second.
Yep.
Looking for a little bit of advice, and we thought, who gives better advice than an Australian dad?
True. I don't. Well, dads everywhere, but Australian dads specifically, I think, have a real
They have a
way
way.
with words.
Yeah, they have a way of saying these things.
Now, I don't want anyone to get afraid. Tim and I aren't prepping for anything too soon. We're not having babies just yet.
No,
But together, one day we'll agree upon our time to have a child. But we want to be ready in some way.
Yeah, and I think both of us have had some pretty good guidance in terms of Australian dad advice.
Oh,
So,
definitely, yeah.
Look, I'm going to read out this letter, and we're going to try
Okay.
and help this bloke out with his troubles.
Okay, I'm
So-
going to just get into the. I'll just listen and get in my dad.
Yeah,
ways.
just
Yep.
getting the dad vibe.
Yep,
You got your Speedos on at the beach.
Yeah, yep. I'm
Yep.
running around my speedos. Yep.
Fantastic. All
Here we
right.
go.
Just rip the cord on the mower a couple times and let's get into it. Okay, here's what he says. Hey, boys. Looking for a bit of advice? Dadvice. Hope you can help. I live in Orange, New South Wales, and just turned 23. Me and some mates are planning a road trip to the Goldie, that's the Gold Coast, for people who don't know, to celebrate the occasion. Only problem is, I've only got my mum's 1992 Toyota Corolla.
Oof.
Worried the boys will dog me because it's such a shit car, and also worried it might not make the trip. It's definitely on its last legs. How can I make sure we make it up and back without the car breaking down and my mates making fun of me? Cheers, fellas. Jeremy. So that's Jeremy. Thanks for your letter, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, let's start with you.
All
Len.
right.
What's your dad advice, mate?
All right, here we go. Yeah. No, mate. Oh, good. How are you? How's it going? How's the car? Yeah, your car's good. Sorry, I'm just getting in the dad
Yeah,
lane today. How's
absolutely.
the car? How's the car? Car's good. Look, Jeremy. What I'd first say is if the boys are going to dog you, you dog the boys. All right, you know you're going to
absolutely.
drive them to the Goldie, and they're not going to. I'm not going to have a bar of their shit when it comes to your car not being good because you get their own bloody cars. Am I right?
You're not wrong.
Also, the car will make it, mate. I've had that 1987 Toyota Corolla out there, so it's older than your Toyota Corolla, and it makes it up and down the coast all the time. And you make it on as little petrol as you want. You can go miles on a little bit of petrol. You'd be surprised how far you can get. Now, make sure your NRMA membership is up to date, or whatever is relevant in your state. But NRMA membership, because if you get caught on the side of the road, you don't want to be caught up shit creek without a paddle, do you, mate?
Yeah.
Now, I think that's all pretty sound advice, and most importantly, mate, just don't be a dickhead. All right, don't be a dickhead, and your mates don't be dickheads either. And say hi to your grandma when you see it. All right,
Bloody oath.
Whew, man,
Oh.
that takes it out of you. I'm
Sounded.
zonked.
It was very dad.
Tim, what do you got, mate?
Look, my advice for you, Jeremy, mate, is don't worry about the boys. It's all about driving safely. You do it on your own time. There's going to be a lot of cops on the road.
Ugh.
Tell you that much. So you bloody watch it because they'll hide those cops, mate. They get in the ditches. They're bloody bastards. A lot of them.
Ditch cops.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as yourself, there, Leon. I've got a car older than that. These old Australian cars, mate, they go and go and go. You can't put them down. So, no, I think you covered everything, didn't you?
I probably did. Sorry, I said too much.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Also,
I
is
didn't wanna
Toyota
be
an Australian
funny.
car? I don't think it's an Australian car.
No, it's definitely not. It's a Japanese.
Well, what's your
car.
advice for Jeremy in terms of how to enjoy himself on the Gold Coast?
Just get maggot, mate. No, but responsibly.
Oh yeah, we get maggot responsibly.
Get maggot responsibly, and don't drink any bloody 4X.
4X. What?
Awful.
Lolly water. Not on my watch.
Awful bloody beer.
There goes our Queensland audience. Shoo. Just shut down that section of the world.
Yeah, no. Look, thanks for your letter there, Jeremy. Hopefully that dadvice will help you out there.
I think it will, Jeremy. If just getting real with you, Leon to Jeremy, Tim Leon to Jeremy. Just have a good time, mate. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah. Good on you. Yeah.
No. And
Right.
call us when you get there, mate.
One day we'll unpack all the words that we use in there for our international listeners, like what maggot means.
Maggot. Ooh.
So I think that was good, our new segment. I think that episode was good that we're just finishing up now on the platypus, platypode, platypi.
Look forward to us talking about some of the other Australian animals. What do we got? We got kangaroos, we got koalas. They're not bears.
No.
We got echidnas.
Yep,
Stick around, you'll hear my great echidna story.
we will.
It's not that exciting, but it definitely was cool for me.
Here's a little teaser for you. We're the only country in the world, I believe, that eats their national emblem. So
That is true.
we're wild over
I
here.
think the next animal we're going to be doing in a little while, a couple of weeks away now yet, but we're going to be doing the emu.
Emu at some point. Yep.
One of if God did make a mistake and fuck up royally, it's definitely the emu. They are a crazy looking bird.
They are an angry bird.
But no, they're a lot of fun, so we'll be talking about those guys. And,
yeah. All right. So if you didn't hear last week's episode, make sure you go and check that out. We did it on Vegemite. We had a lot of fun talking about it. We learnt a lot. I've been sharing facts all week. We have to give a massive thank you to the man, the legend, Justin Tyler McElroy.
Using his middle name.
I
Is
did.
He
He uses it all the time.
Is he in trouble?
Thank you. He shared that around for us. So,
Thanks for that, Justin.
Unofficial seal of approval, but pretty official.
Yeah. When are we staying at his house again?
Now. So, yeah, make sure you give that a listen. Make sure you share it all with your friends. So, share this with your friends. Share the last one with your friends.
Share it with your enemies as well.
Yeah, say, look how good my country is.
If you're looking for a way to bridge the gap between you and somebody you're not getting along with.
Yep.
Bring yourselves together over Yeah G'day.
Everyone can enjoy a beer over Yeah G'day. If you want to find our stuff, go to www.yeahg'day.com and you'll find everything related to us.
Beautiful diction. You said that so well.
I have to have diction because I'm sick. My nose is. I made a hand sign at Tim, so he knows what I'm talking about. Everyone else is going, "What's his nose like?" And then, if you want to find us on social media, it's at Yeah G'day Podcast. I believe is all our social media.
Absolutely.
Get involved. Get in the conversation. We had a poll this week about how you have your Vegemite. I'm sure we'll have some polls coming up as well.
Yeah, probably how you cook up your platypus.
How do you eat your poor platypus? Take the barb out first.
All right.
And I think that'll do it. So thanks, as always, to Taylor Smurl for our wonderful cover art.
And, of course, to Curtis Finance for the outroduction music.
And maybe one day the Dad Vice theme song. Who knows?
Maybe.
And I think that'll do it, Tim Green.
Thank you, Leon Chameleon.
Thanks for using my fake name so no one knows who it is.
Yeah. If you haven't found him on Facebook, you will now.
Right. Okay. Well, as always, Tim. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yep. G'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catch you on the flippity flop.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.